What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Starcraft 2 video. This one is between two players on the WCS Pro circuit. Spawning here in the top left-hand corner of Acid Plant Ellie, playing with the blue Zerg pieces. He's currently down, but certainly not out of this series just yet. I'm talking about the best player on the planet. His name is Serral. And his opponent, spawning in the cross position, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently up in the series and wants to keep this series rolling in his favor. His name is none other than Lambo. Alright guys, so game number one. What an intense first game, and I gotta say, you gotta hand it to Lambo. A very exciting, kind of build order composition that Lambo went for, and throughout the game it felt like both players had very similar build orders throughout. But Lambo went for a very interesting push there that kind of maybe threw Serral a little bit off guard. It was just like a lot of lurkers doing crippling amounts of damage to that third base, and really more so, not even so much the base, but more so to the army of Serral. And so I would love to see, and I'm excited to see, what Lambo's going to do here in game number two to try to keep this series kind of rolling, as I said, in his favor. Whereas, of course, we got Serral, best player currently on the planet, and I don't think there's any debate at this point that this guy is an absolute force to be reckoned with. He's down, right? But we've seen this many times. He's been down, but he's certainly not out of it. And I'm excited to see what Serral decides to do. Does he go for a little bit of some cheese in this game, or does he decide to go for, something similar to what he always usually does, which is just the macro-focused game? That said, it does look like we're going to see a hatch gas pool opener out of Serral. Both players, top left of that production tab, we're seeing both players pretty much going for very similar build orders. Both players at the exact same time are going for Metabolic Boost upgrade. Of course, the Zergling upgrade. And it looks like they're just kind of droning up at this point. A couple of queens, also some Zerglings are going to be starting to pop out to try to maybe get some scouting information, which we know Serral, probably one of the best scouters in the entire world as well. Not just, and I think that is a reflection of him as a player. He not only is incredible when it comes to just his play style, but it's also that he is the best scouter. He finds very sneaky ways, and very good ways and creative ways of scouting out his opponent, seeing exactly what's going on at certain timings and seeing exactly what's going on. Like in game number one, he saw the timing of that Spire, and so it just kind of, there's just moments like that where it's just Serral is just a step above everyone else. That said, though, we are going to see third hatchery is going to be coming in for both players. And as we are passing that 3-minute mark now, it does look like both players going for relatively similar builds once again. We are going to see the Baneling nest coming in on both sides of the map. So very similar once again out of both players. But this is where it starts to get very interesting. You'll start seeing activity happening all over the map, which game number one we didn't have as much of. But I'm excited to see if we're going to get some, I don't know, a good amount more action going on all over the map, because sometimes it's actually hard to keep up with everything that's going on in the ZvZ matchup. And that's one thing that I really enjoy about the ZvZ matchup. It's just how intense it can get and how quickly it can kind of escalate. That said, we are going to see both players going for the evolution chambers. Wow, still very similar on that production tab. Serral is going to be coming across the map now with some Zerglings, trying to get a little bit more, maybe some scouting information. Kind of that toying back and forth just to see if there's any openings that he can get to possibly get an advantage over his opponent. Lambo playing a little bit more defense. It looks like he is going to have a Zergling that's going to run in and see if there's any kinds of timings. I think he's just going to pretty much see that Serral's going for a very similar build to what Lambo is doing. We are going to see, though, that the lair is going down now for Serral. The same can be said for Lambo. So these Zerglings are still kind of duking it out, going back and forth. But all that said and done, both players giving each other a decent amount of respect right now, which definitely is well deserved. But both of these players, it does look like, who's going to get a little bit of the advantage. Now, we do have the upgrades coming in. Both players, though, getting those upgrades pretty much around the same exact time. You know, those +1 upgrades for ground-based units. And this is where it's going to start. It's going to start getting a little bit interesting, I think. We're going to start seeing roaches come out. And here we go. Once again, Lambo is going to drop that Spire. Now, wait a second. Serral, I think, had some Zerglings that ran in here. Super interesting. Lambo, the timing of this Spire is just very interesting. So now we're going to see what looks to be Serral is going to start getting a lot of roaches out on that production tab. I'm wondering if he's going to go for a push right now. I feel like he is. He saw the timing. We see a 4th base going down now for Lambo. This would be a perfect time for Serral, I believe, to start attacking. And we see that missile attacks level 1 is going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds for Serral. Here we go. Those Baneling hits were pretty big. But that said, there's a lot of roaches that are starting to pop out. More and more Zerglings as well. I really do think, though, that Serral is going to start moving across the map with these roaches. And Lambo is going to be in an interesting position here, simply because there's a lot of Zerg moving across the map. Lo and behold, 18 more Zerglings are on that production tab. Glad Reconstitution is being researched right now as well for Serral. This Spire is not quite yet done, and we are going to see 16 Zerglings on the production tab here for Lambo. But is it going to be enough? Because there's a lot of roaches already here for Serral. He is already moving up into the main base location, just trying to buy some time. There are Mutalisks on that production tab right now. Here we go. There's a lot of damage being dealt, though. These roaches are doing a ton of damage. The same can be said over at the 3rd base location. Roaches and Zerglings doing so much damage. Now, there are going to be some Mutalisks, but is there going to just be too much damage dealt? GG is called. And Serral evens up the score. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Serral and Lambo. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.